If you've ever
To today's show, we're all gonna go broke. They've already been telling us this, right? We know we've got the universal basic income coming where everyone's gonna make the same and people actually want this because everybody, that's where that expression, you deserve it, right? Everybody feels they deserve what other people have, even though other people have actually worked and, done things to make what they've had. And that's their God-given right, depending on, what they choose to do. But, everything's going to be even, right? So what do you got to do first? You got to make everybody broke because people who have money aren't going to give it up. And certainly the people who don't have any, the liberal type people aren't going to go and steal it from people because, well, they're sissies. They wouldn't be able to anyway. But nobody's going to give up what they have, right? So for them to reset everything, everything's got to go for broke. And we're in the process of doing that. It starts with inflation. It continues with food shortages, supply chain issues. And then, like I've been saying, something along the lines with the grid, which I won't go into in this video. But we're seeing poverty, of course, across the world. We're seeing poverty in America, right? And that's why it's just hilarious that nobody points at these famous people or the president. These people who are supposed to make basic salaries, $300,000 the president's supposed to make somewhere along there. They've got multiple homes and millions coming in. Nancy Pelosi, Nobody says, hey, why don't those people donate money to third world countries like Bill Gates? But he does. Oh, sure. He donates magic potions to third world countries to wipe them out. But that's, of course, a part of the plan. So the World Economic Forum is at it again. What a surprise with one of their posts. They're talking about 263 million people are going to fall into poverty in 2022. Extreme poverty, they say. And there's 3 global crises to blame. How convenient. And one of them, of course, is inequality, because you would have just said probably, right? There's 2. We know phase 1 was the outbreak. Phase 2 is what's going on in Ukraine. So they could blame food shortages on wheat, apparently. America's the third, I think is the 3rd largest supplier of wheat. So you think we'd be all right? Right? We got states going into states of emergency over supply chain shortages. I believe Georgia is currently in one, and other states are still in state of emergencies from the outbreak, of course, which will make it very convenient when they pull the plug and for just, martial law, all this other stuff, whatever they have planned for us, which we know is not good. But take a look at the World Economic Forum, because they're letting you know that you could expect, and this is in third world countries, this isn't in America, but they're getting you ready for this. Extreme poverty, meaning living on less than $1.90 a day. So they're not afraid to openly talk about it. I think what's scariest about it is when you read the comment section. You would think the entire Instagram, everything would just be trolled for the World Economic Forum. But then you got to remind yourself what we're living amongst here with some of these people, right? And some of the people are saying, this is why we must think of solutions for food access for these populations now. Oh, thank you for your input that no one cares or asks for. But again, that's social media for you. And then you have growing inequality equals unchecked corporate and billionaire greed. Right. Or it could just be that the page you're writing on, the World Economic Forum, are manipulating world problems, right? They're the ones creating all these events, working together with governments. And it's not just the World Economic Forum. We shouldn't give them that much power. But Klaus Schwab clearly has a ton. And he's clearly a Rothschild, so there you go. Who controls the money source in the world? The Federal Reserve. The Rothschilds do. And that's why it's hilarious that people think that they're not going to be controlling cryptocurrency as if they don't already. It's pretty amazing that people don't see it, but okay. To each their own. I don't pass judgment, just hoping people wake up and don't fall for the deception. So global food prices, too, are at an all-time high. As the war throttles the wheat, they say, right? This is hitting the poorest, hardest of all families in in Africa and other third world countries around the globe. People are making $1.90. So there's no food there, right? But I mean, Kim Kardashian seems like she's got, I mean, here in America, right? Mystery Babylon. Lots of people have lots of things. So, of course, a lot of these people, like liberal people, I guess, blame people in America for people in other countries. Meanwhile, these people have been doing it to these people in the other countries. The governments in the other countries have been doing it, and do you think that they're not planning it here in America? They despise us the most. These world leaders despise Babylon here the most, the people here the most. And they're showing you right now because they're making the people get at each other's throats and humiliate themselves. So they've humiliated the human race around the world, but here in America specifically, pretty bad. So when it comes to what we're seeing here with poverty, and we're seeing the Great Reset, of course, that has everything to do with it. And that's what's amazing when people comment on the World Economic Forum about world poverty. Well, these are the same people who say you're going to own nothing and be happy, right? So shouldn't these people that they're saying, oh, these people are starving, they should be happy, right? According to you guys, they don't look too happy, but they should be happy. Probably happier than most of us in America with the garbage we see go on here every day. Can't even walk down the street without somebody flipping around their identity, if you know what I mean. Tucking away what they were born with and pretending to be something they're not. But, these countries are all victims of these massive globalists, right? And they pretend it's like, well, if we have a global economy and a global world, all of this will change. Everybody with common sense knows that's not the case, that they want this for us. This is the plan for all of us. Massive poverty, owning nothing, and liking it because they say to like it or die, right? Like it or we'll execute you. Deal with it or execute you. Speak against it, we'll execute you, right? That's what globalism is. And of course, you have the stupidest people alive, which identifies libtards, or whatever you want to call them, who want globalism. They want fascism. And you just look there and you go, you're kidding me, right? Because they don't want people like me and you to make fun of them because they get butthurt, but they can make fun of us. I mean, it's just, everything is so on its head. And it's because of places like the World Economic Forum. They've divided humanity. They've dictated what's best for us. And what's best for us to them is for us to be enslaved to their system, right? And then they create these things and they blame it on that. When they're flat out, when a company or an organization that has all the political leaders of the world meet at it, including Putin, who was groomed, according to Klaus Schwab, out of his own mouth, Trudeau, all these people, all these dictators, right? They all meet here with these people at the World Economic Forum. And they say, we want to reset everything. We want to make everything start over. The world is bad the way it is. Why? Well, because they've created racial division. Right? I mean, there's people who believe, of course, there's always going to be people who are racist people. They want you to think it's on a mass scale in 2022. We just had a black president supposedly elected to 2 terms. Huh? And, so, I mean, some of the stuff is just unbelievable. Some of the richest people are black. LeBron James, for example, right? The social engineers like that. But they want you to, these things, they cause these divisions in these phases. They say they want a great reset. Then what they do is they come out and they create these events like the outbreak, like the war going on. And people can't connect the dots and go, well, these people said everything needed to be reset when nothing was going on. So for years and years and years, they say we need to start over, we need to reset everything. Then all these things start happening around the world. All these world leaders meet here. How is it that hard to connect the dots and say, all of them are meeting. They all are saying we need a reset. And we have all of this stuff happening, such as the destruction of the economies. They're pretty much just saying we're not shipping anything with no excuses at this point. Supply chain issues. What's the excuse? Oh, the one-niner. Oh, yeah, the one-niner is an excuse. People and businesses losing jobs. They talk about, there's the poverty and so many people are losing money and things like that. It's because they're doing it to people. They're deliberately, the American dream, you joking? They're shutting people's businesses down left and right. You know how many businesses went under because they weren't allowed to operate during the one-niner? You don't think that was on purpose? Of course it was. course it was. They don't want to see anyone succeed. And for people, the people out there who are fearful of the outbreak and things like that, they are, I mean, you got to be joking me. That's like saying you're out for a week from work because you have strep throat and you're going to close your business for good because you don't want to risk coming back and getting strep throat or catching strep throat or passing strep throat. And it's like, what? So you have your government come in and close everything down, cause the price of everything to go up, and then say, well, we're not shipping stuff because somebody might cough on it. Oh, okay. So we're going to kill off all the economies because everyone's afraid that they're going to get the sniffles. That makes sense. And then the data they come out with, nothing makes sense, right? And people still just go along with it. They don't see that these people are sabotaging everything that, most of us built up. I'm not saying me or you. A lot of people built up what America is now. Not these people. These people didn't build up anything. They're destroying it. They've reaped the benefits of what other people have built, right? They've taken over all forms of government, all corporations. They've worked their way through it. They've weaseled from low-level Masons, Freemasons, to other members of secret societies, to Skull and Bones, to the other Ivy League schools like Stanford and all these places where the CEO of this company, he was from Stanford. That's why he's CEO. CEO because he's from Stanford, was groomed into secret society. And all these companies give you the same brand message. They all support the same disgusting thing, which we all know I'm talking about, right? All of them on the same page because they're all working together. And they're all destroying this. And when everything's destroyed, these people are not going to be wounded by this. They're still going to have all their riches and everything else. And look, I don't care if we have riches or not. I mean, I don't believe in storing up treasure here. But I'm not going to be enslaved to these people. I'm not going to be enslaved to Satan's system, that's for sure. So this is them just talking about it, preparing you again. Last week I covered it. They were talking about the shortages of food. Be prepared not to eat, right? Be prepared. We're not going to have food. Be prepared for inflation. And the reason they just go, oh, well, the one-niner. Oh, the stuff in Ukraine. The stuff in Ukraine, how many thousand miles? Well, we get wheat from Ukraine. Oh, we get wheat there. So why is there no meat on the shelves? Why is there a shortage of cow? Oh, because you tell the farmers to kill off their chickens, to kill off their cows. Oh, there's a shortage of produce because of Ukraine. Oh, because you told everyone to kill. You sent letters to farmers in America and told them to kill their crops. Right. But all the people hear is what they see on the TV. They don't look into any of the documents. They don't see any of the stuff that farmers have shown or other people who produce food have shown. No. They just hear Joe Biden go, inflation. We got to get, I don't have a good impression of the guy, but, he's an old geezer. Let's say that. Inflation is because of the one-niner. We have food shortages because of the one-niner. This, and then people just go, oh, okay. Instead of using just common sense and going, well, why would we have, okay, maybe we'll have a shortage of products of wheat. What does that have to do with other stuff? Right? How many pictures have we seen of stores that have no meat on the shelves? Oh, because you don't want meat because you want to bring in that soy meat, so you could breast up men and get everyone to become soy boys and give them some more estrogen. Oh, right. But we'll blame it, of course, on these things because it makes no sense. Oh, well, we told farmers to kill their crops because we thought it might spread the one-niner. What? If anything, it's spreading what's falling from the sky onto the crops, which ain't good either. But, I mean, the whole thing, it's so easy to see. But the people who fall for this are the same people who get walked on in life. Right? The same people who get, get a bad breakup or something and they blame, make excuses because they don't take accountability and they just, or they're just so naive to everything and they just constantly they're miserable in life and they're like blaming other things. They're the same people. They just believe this stuff. They never think. It's on themselves. It's on these people to think and ask questions. How in the world, and I said it yesterday, the same people who trust they're like, yeah, I believe what they're saying. But then if you ask them, if you were out having a beer with them and you ask them about the government, they'd be like, I don't trust them. Just like you hear people with lawyers. Everyone says that. I don't trust politicians. They're all snakes. Oh, okay. So what would make you think that any of these politicians or anyone at the CDC has your best interests at heart? The CDC, not the CDC, excuse me, the FDA, literally, I've covered this. They allow some of the worst chemicals to be put in our food. And they openly, people do independent research and have found so much weed killer and stuff in the food. How about the Johnson & Johnson, what they found in the powder, right? The talcum. How come some of these things get past these people who are supposed to care so much about you? I mean, this is a government agency. This isn't, Joe Plumber up the road or like your local pizza parlor. Oops, accidentally somebody spit in your pizza. I mean, we're talking about chemicals like weed killer, you know? You know that people who like landscaping people and who do like, you might have a landscaper, you might do it yourself, but landscapers need like a license to even use weed killer because it's a serious chemical. Well, how do you think is it working your food for you? And people just go, ooh, wow, we got to do a recall. The food goes bad. How does it get past the FDA in the first place? Isn't that their job? How does it get past the CDC and the FDA, all this stuff? Oh, sorry, we forgot. We didn't mean that Johnson & Johnson was causing ovarian cancer and all this other stuff. Oopsies. Oh, all right. All right, we made a mistake. Oh, well, you're the government. You're not supposed to make a mistake. But, that gives them excuses, too, to come out with stuff like the magic potion and be like, oops, yeah, I mean, we were in a rush because it was, no one's ever seen anything like it before. Sorry, so many people, this happened to you. If they ever have the guts to do that, but they won't. And again, even if they did, like I said before, the people who have taken the potion will still be like, I still did the right thing because I care. I mean, warp society, folks. Dumbed down, yeah, that's an understatement. This is what's coming. World poverty. Deliberately done by inflating prices, killing jobs, and of course, blaming it on world events that they create. Welcome to the New World Order.